What an exciting day over here. New project begins right now. What this car is a 1977 Toyota Celica 2J Turbo. I'll show you everything and what my goal is and what I'm going to be doing with this car over the next roughly 6 weeks is a full color change. Let's just go ahead and get started. We want to make a bunch of progress in every single video, and this is video number 1.
And now, you're watching the We Got 13 Colonies, so 13 minus 50, goddamn 47 channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodyvision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another video, the first video of the new build series. This is going to be a really fun series. I know the car is going to look really good in the end, and they're going to definitely be entertaining videos with a lot of progress in every single one. So to give a little background on the car and the owner of the car actually did 24 years in the Air Force as an aircraft mechanic, and he found this car in Arkansas. I'll throw some pictures on the screen right here to just show you how the car was when he found it. The engine bay was crazy. It doesn't look anything like how it looks now. So he's done a lot of really good work on the car to get it to this point. I'll definitely put some more information in the description down below if you're interested in seeing more of the story of the car and the owner as well. Also, I'll put his Instagram down there if you want to see some of the progress before I'm touching it, and then also after he gets the car back, I'm sure he'll be posting a lot of stuff on this car. I know you're going to fall in love with this build, so if you want to keep up with it, his Instagram will be down below like I said. So since this is the first day that I'm with the car, I want to kind of come up with a game plan of what I want to do and how I want to approach this car. Now the body has seen better days, as you saw from those pictures. This car was sitting in a field for a very long time. There was probably sticks, trees, and all kind of debris that had fell on the car throughout the time it was sitting. And who knows, from 1977, that's a lot of time for a lot of stuff to happen. But man, check out this engine bay, dude. So what we got right here, Turbo 2J. There will be more information on this whole setup in the description down below. It's a CD009 trans. It was tuned. The oil cooler right here sits in front. He got everything out of the way for me. This is exactly how the car was dropped off. Also, I wanted to make note that the windshield was removed, all the glass was removed, everything, front window, back window, rear windshield rather. And this is the absolute best way by far to perform a color change, is to have everything brought to me just like this. And I really appreciate receiving a car like this. So with the car being torn down as much as it is, it really saves me a bunch of time. And also, to be honest with this car, I'm not familiar with this car at all. So removing all of the trim and the clips and the whatever, I didn't want to risk me breaking all of it, and the owner is extremely familiar with the car itself. So he told me he would be willing to remove all that stuff before I got the car. That way I don't have to have a bunch of extra pieces laying around my shop that I don't need, because these pieces right there, those are chrome pieces. There's a bunch of chrome pieces on this car. We'll eventually see it put back together in its entirety, but what I want to do right now is I want to start to mask off the inside of the car. We'll at least put plastic barriers in where all the glass goes, so that way I'm not just getting a whole bunch of dust on the inside of the car. I'm going to cover the motor as well. It's still going to be a little dusty in the engine bay, but we can blow it out. I just want to take some precautions to try to make as little of a mess as possible, even though it will get a little bit messy. But let's just get started, man. New project, super hyped for it. This car is going to be good, dude, for sure. right now I have made quite a bit of decent progress on the car, but I'm actually out of some supplies. I gotta go get some body filler, and I haven't took the old trusty shop truck in a while, and I'm real dirty. So let's go ahead and hit the shop truck. Let's see if she's got it. Got it. All right, let's go. 1968 Ford F-350 dually. Let's ride. I got my U-turn messed up over here, man. Usually it's 2 lanes. It just got me a tight 1-lane U-turn. All right, let's go. Come on, now straight 60. So I was just thinking this truck has the factory straight 6 in it, and the car that I'm working on's got a 2J in it, which is also straight 6, obviously. It would be sick if I put a 2J in this truck, right? Big turbo 2J. Sounds pretty good, right? All right, so I need to get sandpaper, filler, a couple other things. Oh, I need to get some studs for my stud welder too. I'm sure they'll have everything I need. Maybe not the studs, but we'll see. All right, so we're good. Got everything I needed. I didn't know if they have studs for my stud welder, but they did. So we're gonna head back to the shop and then keep it going. Let's go. All right, so here we are back at the shop. Now, just briefly, I wanted to talk about Bodywork. I'm not going to go into crazy detail because I just don't want to overbore you with details. I mainly want to show you the cool process of painting this car, making it transform from how it looks now at the beginning of this episode to the final episode where it's going to look phenomenal. I can guarantee that. So, Bodywork, like I was saying, the first thing that I would say is a lot of people are really might be turned off by if they see a lot of body work. For example, this looks like a lot of body filler. This also looks like a lot of body filler over there. Now, the big thing with body filler and what you want to avoid is how thick that you're going. Now, what they do with any major restorations, I guarantee you every single square inch of the car has body filler if it's an older car or anything that's not completely original. As they're doing a restoration, what they do is they do float the entire panel with body filler. Now, like I'm saying, that body filler is only really thin, just so that way they can get rid of any minor imperfections by blocking it out. The longer your block is, the more straight your bodywork's going to be. For example, on this door right here, I kept using my block for reference because I had to recreate that body line. The door was all wavy and crazy. Now, what I ended up doing was one side of it was able to touch the factory body line, the other side of it was able to touch the factory body line. And then if I look down this edge and I see any low areas on the body line, I knew that needed a little bit more filler for us to, like I said, recreate that body line, because that was so messed up. This car is by far going to be the most amount of body work I've ever done on a singular car, but I gave myself plenty of time to do it, and I'm not worried about the fact that it's going to turn out good. It's just going to be a lot of repetitive work for me, and hopefully not repetitive videos. So this fender was crushed, but I got it looking really straight. I had to rewrite this body line. It looks good. Now, with the rear quarter, there was a whole bunch of old body filler on there. I just pulled all of that off because it was cracking, and what I found was the previous person to do those repairs, they put so much filler on it just to try to smooth over the high points. What I ended up doing was I actually knocked down some of the high points so that way I wouldn't need as much filler to make it look good. And they did a good job on the metal work, did a bad job on the body filler work, or it could have just been really old body filler. So fender's looking good, doors looking dialed. Rear quarter, I need to work it a bunch more. So one thing that I like to do is alternate between two different areas. That way, as my filler's drying, I can be sanding the next area. For example, I put filler on the fender. As that's drying, I'm sanding on the door. Then the door is going to need a little bit more filler, so I can go ahead and spread that body filler out, put that on the panel, then come back to the fender, because the fender is going to be dry at that time. If you're just staying in one area and you're sitting there waiting for the body filler to dry, you're wasting a bunch of time. Alright, so this body line, this area is going to be a little bit tricky because this body line actually jogs up just a little bit. So I do have a trace of the existing body line right here, and I know it lines up with the body line that's on the door. So I got to make it match from one side to another. Now I can go look at the other side of the car, but the other side of the car is also pretty rough over there. So what I think that I'm just going to do, I may look up a couple pictures to see if I can get an idea of how it's supposed to look, but I want it to look natural. Now keep in mind, when people see this car, they're not going to be comparing it to an assembly line version of what this car is. They're just going to be looking, does it look good or does it not look good? So that's in my mind as I'm working this area. It's a long process, it's a slow process, but a little bit of filler, blocking, fill in the low spots, block a little bit more, fill in the low spots, block a little bit more, sand it down, make sure it's all good. Now the fender is pretty dialed, the door is pretty dialed, and this area is a work in progress. What I want to work towards doing eventually is priming these areas so that way I can go ahead and use my guide coat and then really block them, just to make sure I'm refining the areas and there's no small dents, because in reality I'm going for the big mess ups. I'm quality control on the big messed up areas, but there's also going to be all kinds of little low spots as well. But those little low spots, that'll become in the process of once I prime it and I use that guide coat. Now I know I'm giving you a lot of details in this video, but I just kind of want to explain to you my mindset as I'm going along, so that way you can see what exactly I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So at this point, it's a balance game and it's a waiting game. I gotta wait for one area to dry, then figure out the next area that I want to work on, and this is going to be a little bit repetitive, but here it is, Wednesday morning as I'm working on this car. I want to go ahead and go inside, get this edited, get it scheduled to go live at 4 o'clock. Hopefully you're watching it on the first day that it's up, Wednesday. What's up? What's happening? If you're watching it on Wednesday, I appreciate you checking in really early. So I want to show you the new project. I want to hear what you think about the project. The color that this car is going to be chef's kiss phenomenal. The car is going to look really good. I'll give you a hint, it's not going to be red. It'll look good for sure. So that'll be coming up in some of the other videos. Now with this car, I have many videos on the way. That way you can see the process from start to finish, and you can see the car transform before your eyes on your TV, phone, or computer in the matter of about 4 to 6 weeks is what I'm thinking this will take. After that, I got a new project coming in, and I hope you subscribe to see all of these videos, all of the future videos, every single video. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, like this video, comment, subscribe, comment down below, let me know what you think. Check out the merch, the link will be down in the description. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.